Hey guys, this is Suzanne Light coming to you today. I just want to talk to you just a few minutes about something that I had read in a devotional book. Are you willing to lean? Now, Suzanne, what are you talking about? Are we willing to lean? The Bible says in Proverbs 3, verses 5 through 6, a song that we used to sing and a verse that sometimes is easier said than done. But it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. I think many times we try to do that. But then this is where we mess up. Do not lean on your own understanding. But Lord, you don't understand. But lean on my understanding. But you don't understand. But lean on me. You remember the old Bill Withers song? Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your strength. I'll help you carry on. So Bill Withers did a great song. But Bill Withers is a human. He may be dead by now, I don't know. But he was a human when he sang that. And if we try to lean on ourselves or another human being, it's just not the same as leaning on the Lord. We teach our young women and men to be strong, to be resilient, to go for it, to reach for the sky. But we need to make sure and say, in that process, lean unto the Lord. Don't just go with what feels good or what feels right or what everybody else is doing. Lean not to thine own understanding. So in other words, the decisions that we make, the places that we go, the things that we do, we need to lean on Him to make sure it's right for us. And He says, in all your ways. Is it stupid to pray before you buy a car? No. Is it stupid to pray before you buy a house? No. I have bought a car before that was out of the will of God. Hated the car, used too much gas, was a mistake, bought it on a whim, where I should have stepped back and said, Lord, is this what I'm supposed to do? I want to lean on you so that I have your understanding. Because He says when we do this, that He will make all of our paths straight. He will direct our path. Does it not always feel like when you're going somewhere brand new that you've never been before, does it not feel like it takes a complete eternity to get there? And then if you turned around and came back, it takes you half the time. It's because we're going down familiar paths. When you're unfamiliar with the way that a road winds around the land and the trees, and you can't see past a point that you've never been before, you're tempted to doubt, am I going the right direction? Now, we've got GPSs now. But GPS sometimes will take you down a road that you didn't mean to go. Have you ever been there? I have. Like, John, we're in trouble. This is not civilization. So we can go on a strange road and we can think, oh, I don't know. So, but then some of us, and that would be me, that would be John, we love to go on roads that we've never been before. But I still want to go in the daylight. I don't want to go at dark. And I want to go in the daylight, and I still want to see and know that I'm heading in somewhat the right direction. So I love a good surprise when to take a road that's not been traveled by us. I love that. But if I'm going from here to, let's say, North Carolina, I want to know that I'm starting at point A and I'm going to point B. I want to know that. I want to have direction. But rarely is it that simple. We run into snags with traffic. We run into detours. We run into bad weather. We can run into traffic jams. And sometimes that GPS will lead you in a way that's completely wrong. So every day of our life is like an adventure. You know, you get up thinking that you have all your ducks in a row, and one situation can change the way that you're going or the way that you should. And we have so many decisions to make. What to fix for supper? Ooh, that's a bad one for me. How to educate our children. How to have more joy. Who to trust as a friend. What to cut from our busy schedules. How we use our time. Where to go for advice. Those are all decisions that sometimes we face daily or weekly or monthly. There's a saying in this that says, when we believe and walk in the light of God's trustworthiness, we can hardly miss finding Him to be so. And you know, it is so true. He is the one that we can trust. He is the trustworthy one. And you say, but Suzanne, you're talking about the simple things of life. I'm talking about everything that applies to you in life. Are you saying that God should direct you what to cook for supper? No. But you don't know. I mean, you know, people think that's silly. I can be places and be in a hurry and I'll say, Lord, please open up a parking place for me close to the front. You know, and many times that happens. I don't believe in coincidences with God. You may think that's silly. But really, there is no limit to the choices that we have to make daily, is there? We're constantly having to make choices, and sometimes those choices are very weighty. They weigh heavily on our shoulders. And I've talked to y'all many times about taking care of an elderly parent, and that's heavy on my shoulder. Not because she's a burden. It's because when you're taking care of somebody, especially that doesn't live in the house with you, I'm constantly thinking, does she have this? Does she have this? Am I making the right decision? Is it okay for her to go on this new medicine? So sometimes I have to stop and do my own breathing technique that I talked about, where I have to exhale Suzanne and the stresses of life, and I have to inhale Jesus and say, I need your help in my daily life. Even small decisions sometimes have large implications, and we fear that we lack the ability to choose wisely. I personally, when I go shopping, I see something, I like it, I pick it up, I buy it. John, on the other hand, has to check out every item in there. He does not make rash decisions. Sometimes in life that's really good, and then sometimes that can drive you crazy, but sometimes we just feel like in life we lack the ability to make every decision wisely. Sometimes you can get to the point where you feel, I had a friend say to me yesterday, I can't be everything to everybody. And I know especially as women, sometimes we feel that way. So you can get to the point where you have decision fatigue. You ever heard of that? I've made so many decisions, I don't want to make anymore. World, go away. It's like the commercial, Calgon, take me away. I've got decision fatigue. So, but today's crossroads that we face, the decisions that we face, they're not really meant to highlight our own wisdom and ability, but rather to stay on course, but to reveal, where do you place your confidence in the decisions that you make daily, in the wisdom that you have, in the foresight for the future? Where do you place your confidence? And I can tell you right now, my confidence is in Jesus Christ, that He will lead, guide, and direct me. I pray weekly, sometimes daily, Father, order my steps. You open up the doors that's supposed to be open. You close the doors that's supposed to be closed. In other words, I will trust you, Lord, in what seems reasonable, and then I have to trust you in what seems unreasonable as well. So maybe you're worn out. Maybe you have a hard time letting go, and maybe you've been leaning on your own understanding. When the Father gives you the security of His presence and His power to lean on Him, He tells us that. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't lean to your own understanding. And perhaps your path is not what you expected or hoped for. Maybe you're going down a path, you're like, Lord, I don't want to be here. But that's where Proverbs tells us to yield our heart unto Him, so that we will acknowledge that He is faithful, and that we know that where He leads us is in the truth, in His truth. We may be praying for something different, and we may really need to lean on Him for understanding where to take us, or for how for us to be better. But that's where, when you can't trust your job, you can't trust other people sometimes you can't even trust yourself, you can always trust in Him. He said, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path. When we believe and walk in the light of His trustworthiness, we can hardly miss finding Him to be so. That's the quote I read you a while ago. The biggest decision you and I face today may not be what we will do next week, but whom we will trust. I trust you, Lord. I told a young couple that's wanting to have a baby so bad, I said, sometimes God's timing just really stinks, but His timing is right, and He is always faithful and true. It's not warm feelings and wishful thinking that we always need to put our trust in. It is a blind faith many times. We're to trust in the God who led His people into the desert so that they might know the end of their power and the fullness of His provision. He's doing the same with us today. He may be leading you into a desert to end the power struggle in you so that you will know the fullness of His provision. Even the children in the wilderness never lacked, because even when they didn't have a bite to eat, manna would fall from heaven. Who are you placing your faith and confidence in today? Who are you leaning on? What are you leaning on? Why are you leaning on something other than God? Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not to thine own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path. He will make your path straight. He will lead you in the way that you need to go. And do we mess up? Do we take the wrong path sometimes? Absolutely. Absolutely we do. But He is always faithful. He loves us with a love that cannot be measured by anything on this earth. So I'm asking you today, are you brave enough to lean? Are you brave enough to lean? Do you trust enough to lean on Him for a change? Quit trying to be a fixer. He doesn't want you to fix it. That's His job. I've learned that the hard way. I've learned it the hard way. Quit expecting that I know all the answers, because I don't, but He does. I hope you've enjoyed this today. I hope this has spoken to your spirit. Like it. It will get shared more if you like it. Comment below if this spoke to you, if this was speaking to you today, because when I read it, it spoke to me, definitely. And have a great day. I'll be back real soon. Bye.